Good morning, and welcome to today's edition of Good Morning Hebrew Home. I'm your host for Thursday, Liisa Murray, and the time is now 10:32 a.m. Today is Thursday, September 17th. The weather today will be overcast with a high of 78, so even though it's a little bit cloudy, we still got those warmer-ish weather going on today, so get outside. Fall is a-coming. On this day in history, in 1787, the U.S. Constitution is signed by delegates at the Philadelphia Convention. Very historical day. In 1849, Harriet Tubman first escaped slavery in Maryland with her two brothers before going back many times to save other slaves. In 1947, Jackie Robinson is named Rookie of the Year by Sporting News. In 1954, Lord of the Flies by William Golding is published by Faber and Faber in London. It's one of my favorite books, though it's dark, that I read in high school. Today is also a day that a lot of TV shows premiered, so here's a few of them. In 1961, Car 54, Where Are You? Premieres on US TV. In 1964, Bewitched premieres on ABC TV. And in 1972, TV comedy MASH, adapted from the movie starring Alan Alda, Loretta Swit, and Wayne Rogers, among others, debuts on CBS in the U.S. So I wonder if you remember watching any of those. Their original runs were before my time, but I watched many a rerun of those TV shows. And in sports, in 1964, Mickey Mantle gets hits number 1,999, 2000, and 2001, and his 450th home run. That's so many I can barely understand. In 1978, Anwar Sadat, Menachem Begin, and Jimmy Carter signed the Camp David Accords, frameworks for peace in the Middle East and between Egypt and Israel. This is a very historical day. And in 1983, Vanessa Williams from New York, 20 years old, is crowned the 56th Miss America in 1984, and the very first Black Miss America. In 2010, the 54-year run of the soap opera As the World Turns ends its final episode. So I wonder if any of you watched As the World Turns. I remember watching it when I'd stay home sick from school when I was a kid. And in 2011, the Occupy Wall Street movement began in Zuccotti Park in New York City. Turning to birthdays and infamous birthdays today, in 1883, William Carlos Williams, American physician and poet, was born in Rutherford, New Jersey. In 1923, Hank Williams, American country singer, known for songs Cold, Cold Heart and Hey Good Lookin', was born in Mount Olive, Alabama. And in 1931, Anne Bancroft, American actress, director, screenwriter, and singer, known for The Graduate and Miracle Worker, was born right here in the Bronx. So, turning to the Hebrew home, in birthdays today, there are no resident birthdays today, so an extra special happy birthday to yesterday and tomorrow. And in staff birthdays, Sidikat in nursing, Keen in IT, and friend of the show, previous guest, Deirdre Locke from Weinberg. Happy birthday. So today's meal. Today is a hot dog day. Hot dog on a roll, baked beans, sauerkraut, and dessert is pineapples for lunch. Dinner begins with soup, carrot and spinach soup. The entree is a Filet-O-Fish sandwich with coleslaw, and my father's favorite, coffee ice cream as a dessert. So feel free to give us a call in for viewer mail 2813 if you have any suggestions. I was watching Wendy's show yesterday, and it was so exciting to hear people's voices, their guesses. If you have any more suggestions of things that Wendy could have you guess in her guessing game, please feel free to give us a call from your landline phone here, 2813, or anything you'd like to share. We always love to hear from you here on the show. So I am really excited for our guest today. We have a very special musical guest. Let's welcome Peter Stan.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Peter. Welcome. What a great entrance.
Oh,
I
thank
love
you.
that. So if people don't know, that's Peter's theme song. He does a program on a musical note here, broadcasts several times during the week, and that's how you start off every episode. That's right.
Yes, and that's how I finish every episode.
That's right. Yeah. So I thought we'd have you on to play a couple songs and tell us a little bit more about the accordion. So
Sure. So, if you notice today, you've seen two accordions. One here, and as I see on this, see this accordion, the smaller accordion. I'm going to explain the difference in the accordions. But before I explain the difference, since you see two accordions, maybe should I tell them a small joke, an accordion joke?
oh, an accordion joke? I'd love to hear it. Tell us an accordion joke.
All right. So there's an accordion player. He finishes up a gig, playing a party, whatever. So on his way home, he's driving home, and then he sees a pub, a bar. And he says, hey, maybe I'll go get a beer. Have a beer, go in a pub. So he goes in a pub. He has as he's getting out, he's thinking to himself, should I take the accordion with me or just leave it here on the back seat? Mm-hmm. So he says, I'll leave it here on the back seat. I'll lock the windows, and no one's going to touch my accordion. So he goes in a bar. He has a few drinks, gets relaxed, and then as he's leaving going back to the car, he approaches the car and he says, oh my God, the window's broken. Oh my God, they took my accordion, and his window's broken. As he gets in the car, he sees his accordion there, but he sees an extra accordion there. Someone broke the window to throw an extra accordion in there. I know, that was a little corny, but yeah, how's everyone doing? So I'm going to get into explaining to the accordions, but I want to start off with explaining a little bit about this accordion. This is my accordion that I use all over, performing outside.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful accordion. I love the gold. If you can see some of on the camera, there's some gold.
Yes,
on
and
there.
this accordion is made in Italy.
Oh.
And this accordion, they make a new brand, but this is old accordion that it's like nothing's like homemade.
Yeah.
Old school. So this accordion costs probably today, if you buy it, it's about $8,000.
Wow.
But it's not this quality. So it's the reeds inside. The accordion, I've explained before how the accordion works. Just real fast to go a few seconds. The piano side which is the melody. Mm-hmm. The bellows, which gives it the air. The accordion is a wind instrument. And all these small notes are the accompaniment, the bass notes on the circle of fifths, chords. So we have bass notes and chords. So basically you have a whole band on the accordion. It's that's why they call it a one-man band instrument. So why don't I play something?
Please.
Yeah?
Yes, play us something.
Let's see, maybe I'll play a slow, maybe a old classic accordion song that I learned years ago when I was a kid once upon a time.
Oh.
But this is a piece that I played in an accordion competition. I played in many accordion competitions. Yeah, a bunch of them all over the U.S., and I always prepared for it. So I'm not going to go into those stories because that's going to take forever to explain my experiences through that. But this is one piece that I played in the accordion competition. It's called the Ukrainian theme song, Shom Minka, arranged by Palmy Hughes. So I'm going to do just a small version so I don't take up the whole show.
Great. Take it away.
So that was the Ukrainian theme song. Haven't played that in a while, but it's a little rusty. But that's
it did not sound rusty to me. I'll tell you what.
That's one of the songs that I played years ago in a competition.
I can imagine how that would be a great competition song. Can I tell you some of the things that I noticed, and you can tell me a little bit about what's happening with the accordion?
Sure.
So one of the things I found really cool in that piece was the way that the bellows, you used it as like breath. It sounded like very dramatic, like a person breathing. And I've never heard that before with the accordion.
I'm very glad you said that, because the bellows is, many accordion players don't realize, who begin the accordion, the breath is what's the heart of the accordion. Any instrument you play, there's something that gives it the heart. So the way I move the bellows, yes, I do go in and out, but the bellows is what my musical feeling. So we go from here. Yes, the technique is important, and knowing the notes, but the way you feel the music, the way you hit a note, the way you feel the note, the way a note breathes.
That's the thing that's so important about music, and I know we've got a room full of musicians here today, that as a singer, that's very true as well. The breath is really what powers the singing, and the breath and how you feel the music, you can be technically correct, but if it doesn't move someone, if you're not feeling the music, you know, it's going to be really missing something.
Right. Like there's a bunch of virtuoso musicians that I've seen, and they're performing, but I just feel like it doesn't click. Something's missing. It sounds a little bit cold. Have you ever seen someone who's
technically very good? You can hear they're executing whatever high level music it is, but you don't feel that feeling in your heart that you get when you really connect to the music.
Right.
And I think that that's the thing that I mean, I can speak for myself, you know, that's what keeps me with the music, is that emotional connection, is that feeling of for me, singing something and really feeling those feelings and trying to put it across. So it's, and I can tell that it's the same for you with the accordion.
You know, I was thinking about it last night, not to do it now, but to put you on the spot, but I was thinking it would be great if one day we can do something together.
I would love that, Peter. I would absolutely love that. Stay tuned. So one of these days we're going to put something together. Now, you did it on camera, so now I have to do it. This is it.
Yeah.
But I would absolutely love to. I've never had. I've sung with you like maybe once or twice, but not nearly enough.
Right, of course.
Another thing, and I'll let you get onto the next accordion in a second. But another thing I noticed was it reminded me very much of a vibrato in the voice, the way you sort of shake
Right.
This is not technical, but shake the bellows to give that sort of little bit of the shake to the voice that sounds like a vibrato.
So the shake, the bellows is also like what instrument? Like the saxophone, the wind. We give it wind, right? The violin. What's the heart? I mean, you play the notes, but what's on the violin? It's the way you bow your violin, the way you put the pressure. So the way you're feeling each note. I believe comes from the bow and the notes together. And of course, yes, it's the air and everything, but it's all together. So in my mind, I said to myself, like, when learning a song, to really get a song, you could learn the notes, fine. But what do we really need? So I think it's 3 main parts. So it's the technique, number 1. Number 2 is having the idea of the music, which is the brain, right? Like with the brain we know the music, and the heart, which is all 3 connected. So it's the brain, which number 1, the technique, and the heart. So those 3 parts are what makes the music.
That's great. I picture it: the hands, the head, and the heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once I told when I was a kid, I was telling myself, if I really want to learn the music, I wish there was like a cable that when someone plays the music, like the computers, to learn the music.
Yeah.
Not only get the notes, but get from a person, you get the mind, the heart, and the fingers, the technique.
Yeah. That's I think that's a really important thing to think about. So let's move on to the second accordion. Tell us a little bit.
So could I just do we have time where I can just explain this?
Explain a little bit about it. I'd love to know.
Okay.
So the first thing that I notice about it is that it is smaller than this large accordion.
This accordion has much more bass notes where I can repeat. It's all on the circle of fifths, the bass notes, which I'm not going to go into explaining that because that'll take forever.
Music theory is a different episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this one has less bass notes, and this accordion, actually, a lot of the Mexicans use this accordion. Mexicans, if you've seen with the guitars, and probably in New York, you've seen it on the subway and all different places, restaurants, and the mariachi bands. And so this accordion, a lot of the French use it, the mariachi bands, the Mexican, Spanish music, and it has less bass notes, if you see.
Yeah, I noticed there's less buttons on that side.
Less buttons, which is the bass notes, and less piano keys. But you can still play whatever you want on it. You just have to, you don't have the octaves on it as much, but you can play anything you really want. Could I give an example of what's played on?
Yes.
Maybe, let's see, something, how about the Mexican hat dance? Something that's an old...
an old standard.
Yeah, an old standard.
Let's hear it.
Let's see, all right. Do I have a sec just to show the French style that's played on the accordion?
Show us
I don't want to
French.
take up all the time, but let's see. Let me give you just a few bars of La Vie en Rose.
Ah, yes, yes.
Levy and Rose. I don't usually play this accordion, so it's like I'm still adjusting to this accordion. I just got this one a few months ago.
Oh.
I never really played this accordion.
It sounds great, though. I think one of the things that's so special about the accordion, like you said, it's a one-man band. There's so much you can do with the accordion. And I love specifically that song. I felt just so transported in that moment.
Oh,
I didn't feel like I was sitting here at work. I felt like I was on, I was next to the Seine and I was listening, sitting at a restaurant drinking some wine.
If you notice,
Paris.
the tuning on this accordion is sounds much different on this. It's more of a wet sound on this. So that takes a long time to...
That'll be in our 201 class on accordions next time Peter comes.
Yeah, but just to really say, this is dry tuning accordion, and this is a wet tuning accordion.
Well, we'll have to stay tuned next time and find out what that's about. Well, Peter, I think we are about to wrap up, but I want to thank you so much for joining us. This has been so enlightening and such a joy, and I hope that our viewers at home in their rooms have been enjoying.
Well, thank you for having me, and don't forget I'm on today for my broadcast at 2:30, so tune in, and thank you for having me.
Yes.
And I'm gonna sign off with my theme song.
Yes.
So be well, everyone, and see you at 2:30.
How wonderful. Oh, that was a delight. Thank you so much, Peter, for joining us. So let's finish off today. I thought we would finish off with a poem. This has been a very creative episode. A poem by William Carlos Williams, who, as we mentioned earlier, was born today. This is a very famous poem. It's named "This Is Just to Say." I have eaten the plums that were in the icebox and which you were probably saving for breakfast. Forgive me. They were delicious, so sweet, and so cold. Tune in later today for Wellness with Deborah at 1:30 and On a Musical Note with Peter at 2:30. I mean, after today's show, how could you miss that? If you've missed any portion of today's show, it will be replayed on Channel 88 at 6:30, and you can find all of our episodes on YouTube. That's it for today's show. We will see you tomorrow, same time, same place, same channel.
My heart is